no, I forgot to make a reservation. I'm sorry.
My mother-in-law pretended to look and grabbed my hands. 5 of us went to the restaurant, but she purposely didn't save any money.
Honey, there's no need to apologize. We originally made this reservation son and grandson. We don't need to include strangers.
My father-in-law encouraged his wife to laugh loudly.
Hey, Emery, be sure to pay the bill. How great is it to treat your family to a delicious meal?
After my husband Josie spoke, my in-laws laughed even louder. Their classy laughter didn't spoil the quiet atmosphere of this expensive restaurant. My son, Liam, looked at me uncomfortably. I wanted to flip the table they were at, but I had not energy to fight them, and I didn't want my precious son see that. I sighed and turned around.
Anna will watch over Liam, so don't worry.
Bye, Emery Jones.
Even after marrying her son, my moth always called me by my maiden name. Today, she said it again with a smile on her face. She always harassed me like this, but
Excuse me?
as I held back tears and went to pay at the front counter, a waiter suddenly grabbed my arm.
Huh? Ms. Jones, I'm writing to inform you that your application has been accepted for our internship program. We are excited to have you join us this summer. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. If there's anything we can do to make your experience with us more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you again for your interest in our company, and we look forward to working with you soon.
It had never occurred to me that this could happen. To think that I got to meet him again. To a waiter noticing what my mother said as she harassed me. From that moment on, my life completely changed. When did my married life first start apart? I live together with my husband, Josie Liam. The happy life we lived in our 3-bedroom apartment is a story from the past. I first met Josie in university. He looked like a model and had a way with words, so there were many girls chasing him. The fact he chose me must be meant liked me, right? Josie was the type that always put a first. He hid that very well, but as we became closer, I quickly found out. I can be indecisive and feel most six. I'm following people. I was surprised when Josie confessed feelings to me, but thinking about must be because he liked my weak As we were dating, I began to question his personality, but since he was such a great guy, I told myself not to be too critical. After graduating from university, my doubts grew stronger. Thanks to his father's help, Josie was able to work for a large company and received pretreatment. He was an only son, so his parents spoiled him. My father-in-law's friend owns an apartment building, so he gave us a discount on our rent. I assumed that my in-laws were upset with me because they had taken such great care of him. My in-laws despised me. I will never forget the contemptuous look in their eyes when we first met.
Hey. Really? Hey, you don't need to pay attention. You're not marrying them, you're marrying their family.
At the time, Josie sounded strangely, so I made the mistake of listening, thinking that it would be okay. Josie and I got married, but his pair didn't accept me as part of their... Even now, they still call me by my maiden name. A year after getting married, I gave our son Liam. Without Liam, I would have given up time ago. For the first year after Liam was born, my in-laws' attitude slightly changed. They were really happy to have their first grandchild. And my mother-in-law thanked me for giving birth to Liam. Those were the first and last words of gratitude I'd ever hear from her. Once Liam turned 2 years old, things started to change. If my in-laws visited our home, they would only look at Josie and Liam. Josie was also cheating on me while with Liam. No matter how many times I thought about escaping, I always decided to stay with Josie until Liam was born. I told myself that Even a bad dad was better than Liam not having one at all. But then, one day, it was the weekend, and my in-laws came over to play with Liam, as usual. As they were leaving in the evening, they said something surprising.
Right. Let's have a birthday party, Josie, next week. I made a reservation at King.
King, I've heard it's really hard to get a reservation there.
Yes, I requested that you edit it for me.
My father-in-law proudly said to me, I'm a man of my word. I expected that they would want to go on a cruise without me like they did last year, but my mother-in-law turned to me and said,
So you should keep your schedule open.
What do you mean?
as I was still collecting myself from my shock, my in-laws left. I didn't understand what was going. This could be the first step of us relationship. I became somewhat hopeful. It was the day of Josie's birthday. We all gathered at the restaurant. Hearing that it was a high-class restaurant, I imagined a huge place, but it was actually quite small. It was the kind of place where only a few customers could eat at once. My father-in-law seemed very proud of himself. As we were entering, I saw a large stone sign that said King. Seeing that name brought up some old memories, and I began to feel nostalgic. Thinking about it, there was a guy in high school who had a similar problem. I began to smile without realizing. We were shown to a table in a private room. However, the table in the room had chairs. The waiter nervously turned to us.
I will get one more chair for you.
Don't worry.
The waiter looked confused, but I understood what my father-in-law wanted to say. My mother-in-law pretended to look and grabbed my hands. 5 of us went to the restaurant, but she purposely didn't save any seats for us.
We originally made this reservation son and grandson.
Hey, Emery, be sure to pay the bill. How great is it to treat your family to a delicious meal?
Their classy laughter didn't spoil the quiet atmosphere of this expensive restaurant. I wanted to flip the table they were at, but I had not energy to fight them, and I didn't want my precious son see that. I sighed and turned around.
11 watch over. Liam. So, worry.
I heard more laughter behind me as the room. I headed towards the exit as I wiped away tears that suddenly began rolling down my cheeks. The waiter who had just come out of the room suddenly grabbed my hand.
Excuse me, do you know where the nearest bus stop is?
What do you mean?
There's no need for you to take care, Bill. Please, follow me.
I wondered what was going on, but I pulled away my hand and followed them. Even as we walked further away from the private dining room, I could still hear my father-in-law's loud voice.
It'll be so expensive that she won to pay for it. She'll probably start crying.
If she cannot afford to pay, she should do dishes.
As we headed towards the staff room, a sigh of relief because I finally heard my in-laws' conversation again. But why did the waiter take me here? He opened the door as I was getting worried. A tall man with a pouty face stood of me. I recognized him from somewhere. Who could it be? From that gesture, it hit me.
Are you looking for a reliable, experienced, and trustworthy company to handle your website design needs?
It's been a long time, Emery.
The restaurant King is named after the high school king. King smiled and then became serious.
Emery, can you leave them to me?
Then,
Yeah, let's go there now.
He took my hand and wordlessly pulled me towards the private dining room. King opened the door with a bag. Everyone immediately turned to look. My father-in-law stood up and gave an amicable smile.
Oh, it's Chef King. You have a really serious look on your face. Did something happen?
It's about Emery.
My in-laws looked shocked. King and I were classmates in high. King was really rebellious at the skipped school often. After something happened, we began each other and became friends. Though he looked aggressive, he was a very kind guy. After hearing what King said, My in-laws' faces both went blue.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Edit. Please explain to me what you are trying to do.
Jose spoke up with a pathetic voice and stepped over to us. Turning to see what Josie was looking at, I saw an older man who resembled Kier approaching us. I wanted to burst out into laughter. Atmosphere in the room was intense.
Were you the people who treated my friend so rudely?
Boss, I have completed my task.
What happened? Won't you explain?
Ooh, he's wrong. There's been a misunderstanding. Hey, Emery, say something.
I asked you, not Emery. I don't need rude employees like you. Don't come to our office anymore.
No way.
Wait, please give me a chance.
I'm incredibly sorry. Please forgive us.
The two of them desperately apologized to each other, with the mother-in-law beginning to cry. Liam came over to me. He was scared and had tears in his. I told him not to be scared and pat head. With some time, he finally calmed down and smiled again.
If you're really serious, you should act accordingly. Clean the restaurant after we close. People with dirty hearts like yours learn how to clean.
King and his father took Liam and me separate rooms and gave us an incredible speech. The food was amazingly delicious. T acted very humbly. They even made a special kids' meal.
Liam, your mom is a great person.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you probably do. Do you want me to tell you a story?
King began sharing a story from the. King hated studying when we were in school. His parents were elite, but he was studying, so he had a very low self-esteem and felt like he didn't belong in his family. He skipped class so many days that the verge of getting expelled. One day, King and I were in the same class for a cooking assignment in home ec.
Can I try this? Wow, it's delicious. You're so good at seasoning food.
I did it randomly.
I saw how many times you sampled there's no way it was random.
I didn't think much of what I said was the first time King had ever wrecked compliment. Thanks to that, King began studying. Of course, he didn't become a professional player overnight. He made many mistakes along the way.
I'm really useless.
You just need to be creative with cooking. No matter what kind of delicious ingredients you use, if they aren't cooked well, they won't taste good. Measure portions properly, try different combinations, or let things sit overnight occasionally. Similarly, no matter what kind of has, it doesn't mean everything they will be perfect. So you need to be creative.
That made King finally realize he began aiming to become a professional and eventually became a world-renowned. From then on, King's relationship with his parents improved. But after hearing the whole story, admit that I didn't get it.
Did I really say something like that?
Did you forget?
Mom, you're amazing.
King's story didn't stop there. He spoke to his employees about my times. So when the waiter heard my name, he recognized it and knew he had to save me.
So the store name wasn't by chance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose.
No, I'm happy that happened. You're the only person who paid attention to me then. I thought that writing the restaurant with a CE would make it stand out and easier to remember. So, thank you.
One of the waitstaff called out to King, who exited the room. I thought over what I said to King. I should also be creative with my one. If I don't do my best, of course this won't turn out how I want them to. Looking over at Liam, I made up my I will divorce Josie and start my life from scratch. 1 year later, Liam rushed to hug King, who had Khan visit. King hugged Liam back and smiled. After that time at the restaurant, began seeing each other often and dating. We're now considering getting married. I haven't talked to Liam about it yet, but I'm sure that he'll be happy. Liam was so attached to King that I convinced of this. After that incident, my father Jose was also demoted. They screamed to their bosses for forgiveness. Large companies like theirs have Conher processes, so they haven't been they're still holding on somehow in the company's shadows. King and I watched over Liam as he slept after getting tired out from with King.
Liam is worried because he isn't studying. He's tried his hand at cooking to you, but things didn't go well and even more sad.
Really? Isn't he very athletic?
Yeah. The other day, he got first place in a sprinting contest at school.
No need to worry about him then.
King and I made eye contact and smiled. I've always wanted to enjoy quiet to my partner like this.
I will teach Liam the way you taught me. Everyone is good at different things.
That's right. Thank you, King.
King kindly patted Liam's head with hands. It really looked like they could be and son.